in case you missed it, tonight is Shabbat Shira. And this is the week where we read from the Torah portion Beshalach, and it's basically the ancient world's equivalent of a blockbuster movie. It's got plagues, a high-stakes chase scene, a miraculous escape, and of course the grand finale, the parting of the sea. This is the moment when the Israelites officially leave Egypt behind. And what is the first thing they do after witnessing this mind-blowing miracle? They burst into song. That's right, they sing. And it's not just any song, it's the song of the sea, or Shirat Hayam in Hebrew. This is the musical number that would make even Broadway jealous. Moses and the Israelites belt out their praise, and it instantly becomes way more than just an interlude. It becomes a defining moment. So significant is this moment that when Torah scrolls are written, the song is spaced out differently from the surrounding text, visually setting it apart. And we'll see that in a second. But this song also serves as a natural boundary in the story of our people. It marks the transition from slavery to freedom, from Egypt to the wilderness, from survival to something more profound, identity. So why a song? Why not a well-structured speech or a carefully crafted essay? Well, sometimes words alone just don't cut it. I know, as a cantor, I might be biased, but when emotions run high, when we've experienced something so transformative that ordinary speech cannot contain it, we sing. Music takes us beyond logic into something deeper, something communal, something lasting. And here's where it gets even more interesting. The lyrics of Shirat Hayam are an intense mix of emotions. There's a lot of celebration and praise, but along with that, some very vivid and harsh imagery, like that of Pharaoh's army sinking like stones, or God being described as a man of war. Yet when it came time to shape our Jewish liturgy, our sages didn't put those verses front and center. No, instead, they chose Mi Chamocha, who is like you, O God? A verse that shifts the focus from revenge to reverence, from destruction to divinity. They could have chosen the battle scene, but instead, they chose the awe. They chose the part of the song that lifts up God's greatness rather than Israel's enemies' downfall. Well, it turns out this is not just great theology, it's also great psychology. What we choose to lift up and sing about shapes us. We Jews could have let our identity be defined by what our ancestors escaped from, by our collective anger and trauma. But instead, our sages leaned into something more aspirational. The Israelites didn't just sing about the downfall of Pharaoh, they sang as well about the sovereignty of God. And then our sages chose to lift up a song of liberation over a song of destruction. And it's that choice that still shapes us today. Think about our own prayers. Every service we sing Mi Chamocha, not to gloat over Egypt's defeat, but to remind ourselves that we are a people defined by praise and setting people free, not vengeance. Even on Passover, when we recall the plagues, we spill a little wine, not to celebrate the suffering of our enemies, but to acknowledge that their suffering mattered, a suffering that we wish weren't necessary. This is a powerful lesson for us all. We all go through hardships. We all have obstacles to overcome. And sometimes, yes, we're tempted to put on a dramatic soundtrack as we watch our metaphorical enemies go down. But what if instead we chose songs of hope and praise. Songs that remind us of what we are moving toward, not just what we are moving away from. Life isn't always the grand parting of the sea. More often than not, it's trudging through the wilderness, trying to figure out what's next. Choosing to sing Mi Chamocha means choosing to be in relationship with God, choosing to remember that we weren't alone, even in our people's most frightening moments. It's in these moments that the songs we choose to sing matter most. If we sing bitterness, we become bitter. If we sing hope, we build something better.